Hi gang, welcome back to the 15th climate change rally. It is April 4th, 2015. I left my notes at home, so this is going to be a little disjointed. Already had someone yell at me that it's not proven that climate change is happening. You know, how do you respond to that kind of stuff? You got these numbskulls around here that just, they have no basis in science, and they just throw out their propaganda as to what they believe rather than basing everything in science. So, you know, if you can't argue with a fool or an idiot or a drunk, and evidently at times we have all three going at once. So, anyways, the great CO2 level has now reached 413 as a consistent level. 412 was the record, all-time record beforehand. Now this is just a daily occurrence at 413. Again, the significance of 413 is that 350 was the target as far as a livable range, the uppermost limit. Humanity only has existed between 180 parts per million and 300 parts per million. So you got a climate situation that is just erupting out of control. The Arctic, again, the sea ice is under 4 feet thick, which is very prime for a blue ocean event as soon as a storm comes up or it warms up later this summer. You got the Bering Sea off of Alaska, which is totally ice-free, which is a horrible situation. You got the Pacific warm water coming up in the west, and then on the east you got the Atlantic current coming up through Svalbard, which is also coincidentally the home of the Doomsday Vault, which is where our seeds are kept for the whole world. So the permafrost is melting there, and they're having a problem as far as ensuring that the seeds remain intact and undamaged. Antarctica, you have the Thwaites Glacier, which is the mother of all glaciers, in that if that one goes, it's starting to crack now. And once things start going, they just keep going. That's how ice works. The Thwaites Glacier in Antarctica is, it holds back several other glaciers. So once that one goes, it unleashes the cork out of the bottle, and then everything can come loose, and you have a giant sea level rise. However, that'll take some time to happen, I believe. Of course, it could just happen all at once. Who knows? You have more to worry about the CO2 level in the jet stream. Presently, the methane level is 1,860 some parts per billion. Mankind has only existed when it was in the 600s. So methane is a greenhouse gas that is up to 160 times initially more potent than CO2, and eventually it ends up being somewhere around 80 times more potent than CO2. So it's a very dangerous situation we're in. Basically what it's coming down to is there isn't any good news as far as climate change goes, and it's just plenty of bad scientific news. Locally, you have your politicians who don't see the imperative situation we're in, the dire situation. Even you have the right-wingers who totally deny it, as per that guy yelling at me, or thwarting any climate change action, whereas Trump said that windmills, the sound of the windmills causes cancer. I mean, this insanity. The guy has gone off the deep end, and how do you deal with this? I don't know. It's not up to me. I'm not in charge, but honest to God, he's a very dangerous person as far as being in charge of the country right now. And I'm not saying that from a political point of view. I'm saying it from a survival point of view. And you know, it's hugely dangerous. Anyways, so you have the Republicans that are in denial or thwarting the event as far as action goes on climate change. You have the Democrats, who aren't any better because they're silent. You don't hear politicians talking about it every minute. This is a life-threatening situation for the whole globe, and our Democrats in our country, our leaders, are saying nothing. You got Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who everyone thinks is some sort of radical, but in reality, what she's proposing as far as climate change goes is kind of mealy-mouthed. It's not enough to tackle everything. We need an extreme program going on right now, and people aren't getting it. But I've decided to coin the term, these are the times of the great suffering, times of great sufferings. So, you know, this is what we have entered into, and we're going to see it this summer around the world. Australia was 122 degrees in their summer recently. Farmers can't grow crops. You're going to have people going bankrupt and starving to death and whatnot down there. Thank God we have interglobal trade, because right now Australia would be cooked alive. You have the Great Barrier Reef in Australia, where the production of baby corals, they make baby corals, they send it off in the ocean, and then they grow, and then they come back and live as a coral reef. Well, that's down 90%. I suspect the Great Barrier Reef this summer, due to the extreme temperatures in Australia and extreme water conditions, they had floods there as well, that the Barrier Reef could very well die very soon. And that's a gigantic organism in itself. You have the floods in Iowa and Nebraska in the United States, which is the breadbasket for our country, and people aren't realizing that our food situation, we are really in a food insecurity situation. Florida is basically offline. They used to make orange juice and everything for us, and now we're relying on California. Well, California's had flooding, California's had heat, California's had fires. So, in other words, everyone needs to get involved. As usual, I'm the only one out here. It's April 4th, and yeah, the day is terrible. It's kind of rainy and cold and 46 degrees, but in a few days, it's going to be 75 degrees. So the weather whipping is just unbelievable what's going on right now, and there's no jet stream. I should be blown off the map right this second as far as the wind goes, and there is none. So it comes and goes, and the jet stream is shredded due to the Arctic warming up, and there's less of a heat difference between the tropics and the Arctic. That slows down the jet stream and makes it more wavy, so you get these extreme weather conditions, either drought or fire or flood or whatever. It's just crazy what's happening. Anyhow, what can you do locally? You can get solar shingles, solar panels, dig up your lawn. That's an easy one. Stop mowing your lawn. Lawnmowers throw off a crazy amount of carbon dioxide into the air. They're not filtered, and it's horrible. This is April. Why not plant a tree, or plant 10 trees, or go somewhere to plant trees? Grow a garden. You could easily use your lawn and turn it into a garden, front and back. That way it cuts down on having to buy food from other sources. Try to buy locally. Try to buy your food locally. There's farmers markets here in Gettysburg on Saturdays, and that's easily done. So there's little things you can do. Buy a car that's a hybrid car. You're not going to get a pure electric car just yet, other than a Tesla, and it's very expensive. But you can buy a hybrid car. I have a Prius, and my wife has a Prius, and we get 50-some miles a gallon. So that's a crazy amount of miles per gallon, but that should be the average for everyone. I got a second wave, yay. So hopefully everyone will start getting on board. I totally don't understand what's happening in this town. It's really shameful as far as not getting out and doing everything. People think they're progressive, but in reality, they don't talk amongst themselves. They don't say, on here, on the website, that they like certain issues or they like certain articles, because they're afraid of what their peers and friends will say. Well, you know what? When it comes down to it, in the end, you're going to wish you had said something and done something. Everyone has children. Everyone has someone that they love. Everyone has someone they care about. If you don't, that's too bad. But you should care about someone in the planet. And to sit by and let this occur and watch what's going to happen unfold is just sinister. It's evil. It's murder. And whether you're denying or doing nothing, you need to look in the mirror and when the time comes at the end and say, did I do everything I could? So you need to project into the future, see if you've done everything or doing everything. If you're not doing everything, then start doing something. I just don't understand Gettysburg College. It's a college town, has 2,500 students. They're not out here protesting. They're not doing anything. And they're the ones at risk to lose the most. Most likely their lives will be dramatically changed within the next 5 years. And they're doing stuff like studying economics and stuff. And the economic structure will be thrown out the window very soon. The most altruistic thing you can do right now for studies is things like oceanography, ocean science, environmentalism, things like that. We need people like that. We don't need more economists. We don't need more people figuring out how to drill oil as a geologist into the ground. It's just oil and gas have to go bye-byes, and immediately. I mean, it's scary what's happening. So hopefully next week someone will be on board, and I'm not sure when I'm doing it, but it's next Friday, and I'll see y'all soon. Thanks for hanging in there, and good luck, Europe. I hope you have a big protest today. And then April 24th, I believe, is the worldwide protest, as inspired by Greta Thunberg of Sweden, and she started by herself, standing outside. And last time on March 5th, I believe it was, there were 1.5 million school students out there protesting. 1.5 million sprung up from a girl of 16 years old by herself. So hopefully, when the next protest comes up on April 24th, I think it is, that there'll be several million people out, including parents and grandparents and husbands and wives and just people in general, other than just kids. So see you later.